That's amazing, Cikgu Stephen.
Uh,
Then talking about beyond this MCO, right? Perhaps Cikgu Nazmi, kalau Cikgu Nazmi boleh share with us your opinion whether or not Malaysia is ready to accept online-based learning in public schools after the pandemic. This question is asked by Ana Yusof. So, is Malaysia ready to accept online-based learning in public schools after the pandemic? What do you think, Cikgu Nazmi?
Okay, so is it Malaysia ready or not? Okay. For me, to a certain place, yeah, of course, they are more than ready. Okay. I visited so many school, even near the school, somewhere in Miri, there are so many kemudahan, facilities, even the support from the community around them to do this to embrace these changes. And still some part of Malaysia is still, you can clearly see the gap between the two counterparts sangat-sangat luas, sangat-sangat jauh. And for me, I personally think that mana-mana public school yang sudah ready, they can like go on. We admire you. It's your time. It's your time. You should go with it. Okay. Everyone around you supporting you to do that, and you, even the lifestyle around that place, okay, sangat-sangat menggalakkan mereka untuk ke arah perubahan tersebut. Okay. But when I turn myself ke arah yang lain, I see something else. Okay, I see something yang totally different. I see to be honest, when I see everyone is right now doing this restriction movement, okay, I see all the teachers on their online teaching platform. I see everyone dalam Google Classroom doing live streaming classroom meeting. Okay, it's actually touched my heart, and I was thinking, when is the time for us to be part of that? I was like, bila. Okay, I joined a lot of events, and I saw how people present their classroom practices. I saw Cikgu Emira Nabila punya class practice, like, oh my god, like I won't deny ada jealousy a bit, but I was thinking, and it is understandable kalau ada cikgu yang daripada kawasan pedalaman yang giving up. It is really understandable. Sangat-sangat boleh difahami. Okay, bayangkan cikgu yang having this long distance relationship with their partner, dihantar mengajar ke tempat yang totally no internet connection, no cellular phone connection. Cikgu tu kena pergi ke pekan terdekat untuk buat phone call like once a month, twice a month. It's really understandable kalau cikgu tersebut breaking down, kalau cikgu tersebut hilang inspirasi. But like what Cikgu Stephen said just now, it's really about how you look things, macam mana tengok perkara tu, right? I was thinking, kalau semua orang keluar daripada kawasan ni, siapa nak jaga budak-budak ni, right? Someone need to be with them juga. Okay, no matter what. Okay, someone still gotta do it. The pedalaman kids faces diskriminasi, stereotypes. The kind mindset yang tak perlulah kita buat lebih-lebih. Diorang budak pedalaman je pun, I faced that. I myself personally dengar benda tu, and it's kind of hurtful. It's kind of hurtful. And so I realized someone have to stood up for them. Someone kena back them up. Someone kena jaga mereka. Okay. I myself terima banyak request untuk keluarlah cikgu daripada tempat tu. Keluarlah cikgu. Cikgu Nazmi tak akan dapat cungkil potensi sebenar Cikgu Nazmi kalau Cikgu Nazmi masih berada di sana. I was like, oh my god, what these people think? I was like, okay, kalau semua orang nak keluar daripada kawasan tu, siapa nak jaga budak-budak kita? I was like that, right? And I really hope one day, our school, pedalaman school, there are so many pedalaman school here, especially in Sarawak, Sabah juga, and sekolah-sekolah orang asli in Semenanjung, sekolah Cikgu Sam. We really looking forward to that day yang kami finally berada di pintu of that changes. Kami berada di pintu perubahan tersebut. We never claim, kami tak pernah cakap yang semua kekurangan ni adalah alasan kami tak memberi sepenuhnya. We never said that. No one ever said that. Okay? It is actually yang buat kami to go lagi strong. It is actually yang buat kami to go lagi jauh. Whenever I teringat kisah pelajar saya tak pernah tengok vending machine, I was like, thinking, what if kalau saya yang jadi para pelajar tu and no one comes to tell me what is vending machine, and one day I'm going out to further my study, to kerja, and saya dimalukan sebab saya tak tahu vending machine ni apa, I will blame my teacher for real.
Yeah.
I believe that, saya percaya yang kita dihantar, kita diberi tugasan mengikut kemampuan kita, dan kita tak akan dibebankan melebihi daripada apa yang kita mampu. And I personally believe that kat mana saja kita dihantar mengajar, we actually can do it. Like Mr. Stephen said, it's just the way how we look things, just the way how we look it, Kalau kita tengok benda tu trouble, it's gonna be trouble for us. It's going to be troubling us. Okay? If you ask me how to be positive, I said just be yourself. Be yourself and remember our purpose. Okay? Remember our purpose. We are not coming here to playing around. We have things to do. We have tanggungjawab dan amanah yang besar gila dekat bahu kita. Tak kisahlah kita sudah berubah ke arah pembelajaran dengan teknologi atau tidak, kita still kena pikul beban tu, dan it's up to the teachers to do it critically, to do it creatively. Kita tak boleh salahkan para pelajar kita sebab lahir daripada kawasan pedalaman. Kita tak boleh salahkan para pelajar kita lahir daripada keluarga B40. Cikgu dihantar ke sana, cikgu dah di-train, cikgu yang should able to know how to adapt ourselves, able to know how to deal with our kids, able to know
Okay, cikgu.
Okay, my point is, tak kisah kita di sekolah mana, kita diposting sekolah mana, kita dipostingkan di sekolah yang kereta sana sudah terbang, but kalau kita masih tak ada passionate, tak ada motivation untuk jalankan tanggungjawab kita, all those technology means nothing.
That's beautiful,
So,
Cikgu.
technology or not, kita still kena jalankan tanggungjawab kita. And believe me, kita akan lead ribuan generasi yang baru yang probably really going to come out with better technology than what we have right now. So to conclude it, technology or not, we have tanggungjawab. That's for me.
Thank you, Cikgu. That's so beautiful. I teared up. So Cikgu macam bawa I kepada macam tearing, and tiba I pun rasa bersemangat. Tiba I pun macam nak apply dalam SPA, nak jadi cikgu. It's beautiful what you guys are doing as teachers, Cikgu Nazmi, Cikgu Stephen, and all the other teachers who joined us today. I think we have perhaps a room for one more question here from Dayang Zahara. I think Dayang Zahara wants to ask secara peribadi, bagaimana dan apa yang membuatkan anda semua begitu berinspirasi dalam penghasilan PDPC yang kreatif. Mungkin we go with Cikgu Nazmi first and then Cikgu Stephen.
The question is, apa yang memberi inspirasi?
Yeah.
That? Okay.
Apa yang inspire you to, create creative PDP?
Okay. Saya bukanlah zaman saya teacher training, saya bukanlah pelajar yang perform. I'm not a teacher trainee yang perform sangat. Dalam subjek pedagogi atau subjek content, I'm not really yang perform. But bila saya masuk ke zaman practicum and I start to dealing with the kids, okay, I see and I understand yang dorang ni bawa not only future dorang juga bawa future parents dorang, future family dorang, okay. And what inspire me is really, I think, it's the kids. It's, I don't know, I think it's, to be honest, it's the kids, okay. My mom is a teacher. My mom is a guru besar, and I've been living with her. Mana-mana beliau pindah sekolah, saya ikut. So, saya dah terbiasa dengan kehidupan sekolah, and I really inspired by my mom. Okay, I also inspired by orang-orang hebat. For example, who else? A lot of people. Neil Buchanan, yang buat architect tu, I really admired his creativity. I watched Steve Irwin's Crocodile Hunter. Tu pun really inspired me to be excited in whatever we are doing, so people can learn something from it. I actually inspired a lot. The creator of Marvel comic, Stan Lee, inspired me a lot to be ourselves. Just to go on with creativity and to create our own world, so our inspiration can affect other people. But benda yang paling I think inspired me is, I think it's the kids, like 100%. It's for real, it's the kids. Like that's why I really close with my kids. I texted them, like even Datin encouraged us to call them. Okay. When I first masuk ke zaman practicum, when I really sit down with the kids, it's really hits me yang profession keguruan is bukan profession yang like sembarangan, like it's a really another level of profession. Kita ada lawyer, kita ada so many other profession, tapi the only profession yang I see yang ada like ke serata alam, pelusuk-pelusuk negara, pelusuk-pelusuk benua is teacher. It's like when you think about it, it's like we actually come with a purpose yang seriously sangat-sangat besar, yang and everything is because kita ada para pelajar yang willingly to sit down with us, yang listen to us, yang actually pay attention to us. Yang as for me, seorang cikgu pedalaman tahu yang kadang-kadang I think semua cikgu tahu kehadiran is satu benda yang isu yang masih menjadi masalah kepada semua sekolah. When I see kids datang di pun sekolah, is already like, oh my god, these kids are ready for to see me, ready to listen to me, and patut ke saya buat cincai lesson saya? Patut ke saya buat PH pada hari tersebut? So, if you ask me what inspired me, I think it's like it's the kids. I like all teachers. I think semua cikgu dalam Zoom community right now have the same answer. It's the kids. Like we actually can go far. We can actually go further with the kids. Yeah, I think